Good morning, seventh graders. I'm here to teach you how to solve two-step equations. Yesterday we worked on one-step equation notes, so today we're going to move on to two-step equations, and then you'll find some worksheets to practice for your enrichment during that time. Okay, so two-step equations, we're going to just jump right into it with examples. So example 1 is going to be 6 plus 2m is equal to 18. What I like to do is draw a dotted line down my equal sign. That acts as a balance for me. That tells me that whatever I do to one side of the equation, I have to also do to the other side of the equation. On the right-hand side, I'm going to write down our steps. So step 1 is to move the addition or subtraction values by adding the opposites to both sides. So in this case, in example 1, that would be the 6. The 2m has the variable and the coefficient of 2. That's the last step of solving a two-step equation. First step is to always move your addition or your subtraction by adding the opposite. So 6 is positive, so I would be adding a negative 6 to both sides. That would zero out, and I would have 2m equals 12. All right, so bring down the multiplication or division term. Which is this step right here. Okay? Now we're going to divide both sides by 2, and m is equal to 6. So step 3, eliminate the coefficient if we're multiplying, or the denominator if dividing. Okay, and then step 4 is going to be to check your answer. Okay, so we're going to check. 6 plus 2m equals 18. 6 plus 2 times 6 equals 18. 6 plus 12 equals 18. 18 equals 18. Check. So therefore the answer to that problem is m is equal to 6. Okay, I think we're going to do 3 more examples. Okay, so that was example 1. Let's jump to example 2. 7m plus 5 equals negative 30. Draw that balance line. The first thing we need to move is the constant, okay, the term that does not have a variable, by adding a negative 5 to both sides. This becomes 7m equals, remember, a negative plus a negative remains a negative. And then we divide both sides by 7. M is equal to negative 5. So now we want to check that answer. And we would say 7m plus 5 equals negative 30. 7 times negative 5 plus 5 equals negative 30. 7 times negative 5 is negative 35. Plus 5 equals negative 30. Negative 35 plus 5 equals negative 30. Check. Okay, the next example I'm going to show you guys, it's set up two different ways, and I want you to recognize both of those ways because each one is solved differently. So for example 3, I'm going to set it up in two ways. So I'm going to divide my paper in half. So the first one is going to be n over 6 plus 4 equals 7. Now if you notice, the n stands alone as the numerator of that term. So we need to move that negative 4 first before we can solve that equation. So we're going to say negative 4 cancels. Subtract 4 from the other side. We have n over 6 equals 3. Now remember when we did one-step equations, in order to eliminate that denominator, I'm going to multiply both sides by that denominator. They will cancel each other out, and I would have n is equal to 18. So when I check this, I would have 18 over 6 plus 4 equals 7. 18 divided by 6 is 3, plus 4 equals 7. 7 equals 7. Check. So n equals 18. Now I'm going to set that problem up just slightly differently this time. And instead of the n standing alone, I'm going to have that numerator be an expression of n plus 4 over 6 is equal to 7. Now notice the two different ways that we're lined up. My first equation over here, my n stood alone as the numerator, and the plus 4 was a separate term. In this example, n plus 4 is the expression, and the expression is the numerator. So here in the first example, I moved my addition first. Over this example, I can't do that because n plus 4 is an expression. It's a whole part of the term. So before I can do any of the adding and subtracting, I need to eliminate that denominator first. So I'm going to draw my line for my balance. In order to solve this, I have to delete and get rid of that denominator first. Those would cancel each other out, and I would end up with n plus 4 equals 42. Now I can do my adding of a negative to eliminate that positive, and I would have n is equal to 38. So to check it, I would have n plus 4 over 6 equals 7. 38 plus 4 divided by 6 equals 7. 38 plus 4 is equal to 42 over 6 is equal to 7. Therefore, 7 equals 7. Check. So n is equal to 38. So these are the 4 types of problems that you are going to have while solving two steps. Next step that we're going to be working on is using the distributive property and then combining like terms to solve equations. So for now, if you have any questions, I'm going to see you guys hopefully on Tuesday during our meeting. I will discuss one-step equations. If you do have any questions, I don't expect you to do 2 steps right away, but you could certainly give it a try. All right, guys, I hope all is well, and I will see you on Tuesday on Zoom.